In the last 12 weeks, we've been all over the West Coast and driven all kinds of different tuner cars. In fact, of all the cars we've driven, the average horsepower per tuner car was 581. Just thought you'd like to know that. M3, as we all know, is an extremely competent chassis. Nick at VF tends to choose to modify cars whose chassis outperform the stock engine. All-wheel drive, so of course launch control is now active. And go! It kicks you so hard, it's so nutty.
However long it takes is how long it's going to take, and it's going to be the best that I can build it. It may not be the best that it could ever be, but it's the best that I can build it. And I take a lot of pride in my craftsmanship, and I really try to take the time to create nice things and take the time to do things right, because that seems to be a lost art in this world we live in today.
I feel like I'm in Spaceballs. Ludicrous speed, go! Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed making it. And believe me, I enjoyed the hell out of making it. Some of those cars are truly boss, and it's been my privilege to drive them. Now what I want to do real quick is get into a little discussion, a little dialogue, if you will, to let you know that not only do I read your comments and have Zach print them out for me, I'm here to educate you guys, and if there's things we missed in the episode or things that you guys want to talk about, it's my responsibility to address them. So we're going to go through all of them. Cool? All right. Don't plan anything for a while, because we're going to be here for a second. Let's start with the season premiere, the BBI Autosport Porsche Turbo S.
One of his real goals were that he didn't want something like, as you see on the lifts, a full race car. He wanted to be able to drive this thing every day. The biggest thing that we did with achieving that is our exhaust system doesn't drone in the cab. It won't wear you out on a 5-hour drive, as this car does a lot.
The customer's original goal was more horsepower, but you have to build a complete car. So it quickly evolved to doing a lot of suspension tuning and lightweight body components.
We are down 120 pounds in weight and up 130 horsepower at the crank on pump fuel.
Okay, that video was fun to make, and I'll be honest, we came out swinging with that one for a first episode. But you guys had some comments, and let's talk about them for a second. First of all, there was overwhelming support for the F-18 landing on an aircraft carrier instead of the F-16. Look, if you happen to be offended by this, I don't care. I don't know planes. I'm sorry. I don't know planes. I know I got the horsepower of the car, right? I didn't crash it, but I don't know planes. Got it? Sorry. F-16s don't land on aircraft carriers. F-18s do. Win. Second, a bunch of you said that all-wheel drive Porsches are not true sports cars. Now, first of all, clearly you people have never driven an all-wheel drive Porsche, because they are absolutely true sports cars. And what this customer wanted was an all-season, all-weather supercar. Okay, he drives this thing every day. Furthermore, The GT2 RS not only costs more than this car, but isn't as fast. You may get a Porsche factory warranty with one and not with the other, but, you know, such is the way it goes. And this show is about tuner cars, so we can't spend our time obsessing over warranties and Porsche purist stuff. This car is fast and it drives brilliantly, and the guys at BBI Autosport did an unbelievable job of it. Furthermore, in Porsche 997s, at least the Carrera models, if you pull up the parking brake one notch in an all-wheel drive car, it makes it rear-wheel drive. Now, I haven't confirmed whether it does it in Porsche Turbos or not, but Tim at BBI said if you do that on the dyno, pull it up one notch, that it makes about 50 extra horsepower. So you've got that to look forward to, which is nice. Moving on.
You got 2 driving stations.
Yeah.
You want to drive them up top?
Yeah, but you got to set it for me first.
Oh, it's really complicated.
Okay.
It's super complicated. You ready for this?
Yeah.
First thing, we got to reach right over here with your hand. You got to take your hand, you got to pull that pin out.
I mean, you have to use your hand?
You have to use your hand. You have to pull that pin out first, Matt. Then it's really tough. Then you got to lift the steering wheel off. See how tough that is?
Do I take it with me upstairs?
Of course, you're going to need it. Okay, then you reach above your head and you grab the steering shaft, which is on a clip above your head.
Okay.
Now you reach over and you slap it on the steering column, and of course don't forget to put the pin back in. Now as you see how complicated that is, now we can go upstairs and I'll show you how we can drive it from up top.
Let's just do the land yacht tour of the United States in this.
Okay, so I want you to notice, although we're going over some undulating ground here, you're not feeling like you're being pitched out of the
really
top
smooth.
of it.
Look at this corner, it's flat.
Yeah, you're in the
Corner's totally flat.
It's about a sculpture that works.
It is the best.
It's fun. Isn't
I've never had more fun in 28 miles an hour in my entire life.
I'm telling you, it's about the miles per hour.
It is.
And we're doing hundreds of miles per hour right now.
Oh my God, this is awesome. And it's so easy to drive.
Told you.
It's not annoying at all. Like I have zero bus experience.
Right.
And there's no problem.
I liken it to a big 70s American car. It's like a
It's
big
It's like a
Buick.
Galaxy wagon or
Yep,
something.
exactly. It's like a big Cadillac 1973 sedan DeVille, big giant sedan, you know.
And not only is that our most viewed video up to this point, everybody who saw it just fell in love with Randy and his method and his mantra and just his persona and how that comes out in his sculptures. They're not even cars, they're sculptures, but people sometimes can't really appreciate that. And a regular commenter, Richard Ellis, XYZ on YouTube says, an artist with too much time and money on his hands. What does he create? Useless stuff. Watch out for the garage types who litter the insides of garages or litter the property outside their shop. They're the unorganized creative types. Too bad he's not an engineer, or he would be creating something of true value. Now, Richard, let's be honest here. Randy took a motorhome that was worth, what, 15 grand, and using his bare hands, turned it into a masterpiece that not only drives brilliantly and is actually practical, he's gone cross-country in it twice, living out of it. It is the most beautiful motorhome ever built in the history of humanity, and on a bad day, it's worth $500,000. Okay, so creating something of true value is debatable. Maybe he's not contributing to society in any way other than smiles, but I'll be damned if he didn't make a cheap motorhome into a damn expensive motorhome with his bare hands. Let's go to the next episode, shall we? Episode 3 took us to Snoqualmie, Washington, and we met up with my good friend Forrest Duplessis and the crew at the DirtFish Rally School. Now, I didn't know this at the time we decided to shoot there, but Bucky Lassick was going randomly at the same time, and we decided to have a race. Check it out.
Matt doesn't have a chance. I'll bet whatever he wants to bet. I'll leave that up to him what he's going to lose.
Now, me and Bucky had that race. We had exactly the same amount of rally driving experience, one day. And actually Bucky stayed an extra day, and the agreement was the crew got to drive the next day. So Tom and Thad and Zach went driving, and I sat in the truck and did nothing and watched. But Bucky got an extra day of practice, and he beat me by 1 second in the first challenge, which was really good. By the next day, he had shaved, 5 more seconds off of his lap time. So Bucky was doing really well, and he is a super cool guy. He's really fun to hang out with, and the DirtFish experience was good. And I got pretty damn close to him, actually, too. But a commenter, Gaynusha8G from YouTube asks, during the race, why was I holding both hands on the wheel more often than Bucky, and he never saw me shift? And that's actually true. I didn't shift the whole race. I did the entire race in second gear. Bucky went up to third a few times, which made him a little faster at the top end, but he also spent a lot more time shifting, and by the third day, he was going a lot faster in third gear. But the first day, both of our strategy, or at least my strategy, was to keep it in second. And that's what Winston, my advisor, told me I should do. And so that's why I didn't take my hands off the steering wheel, because I didn't have to shift. Thank you, Gaynusha8G. And, you know, about driving styles, when people drive different ways, on a course like that, I would just assume saving time and not shifting if I didn't have to. Now, as I got faster and faster, was going into a higher gear, then maybe. But you're always on a track thinking about the trade-off of the time it takes to actually shift versus, you know, how much revs you've got left and how fast you can get around the track in the same gear. And there's instances on certain tracks where I certainly bang the rev limiter for a second or two instead of wasting time shifting up and then right back down. DirtFish is honestly the greatest place on earth. The people there are so cool, it's so beautiful, and you can get private lessons. It's not as rigidly structured as other racing schools. It's a really, really fun place, and God, I love it up there. Let's move on to our buddies, Art and Craig Morrison. The one upgrade that could do the most for your car is oftentimes the one completely overlooked. I'm talking about the chassis. And for the last 40 plus years, if you wanted a chassis upgrade for your hot rod, there's only one name you need to know: Art Morrison. Inside this unassuming building, the chassis engineers at Art Morrison are hard at work reverse engineering old cars to make them stop better, go better, and most importantly, turn better. Inside, you'll find modern tools and skilled craftsmen with one goal in mind: make your car do everything better. This was the third stop on our Seattle road trip after visiting Blastoline and DirtFish, and up until this point we had been blessed with fantastic weather, but not this day. This day it was a combination of rain, sleet, and hail, and the 600 horsepower 1968 Camaro on drag slicks that we were supposed to drive was just too terrifying to even get to the shop from the guy's house, which is why this is pretty much the only video we made where we don't drive anything. Nevertheless, Art and Craig invited us in and showed us around, and that place, I wish I could convey through video the smell of it. It smelled like history. It smelled like people had been making things out of metal in there for like 50 years. And Art and Craig also, by the way, both have full bars in their house. And when I say full bar, I mean full bars. They love drinking up there, which is why I love hanging out with them. And they build some of the best street rods, resto mods, pro touring, whatever you want to call it. Art's Corvette is just bananas. But the main comment we got on that video over and over was, why didn't we drive anything? And the answer is because there was pretty much a blizzard going on outside all day. Even in that shop we were filming, it was about 30 degrees maybe. And I was, as usual, totally unprepared for the weather with just my leather jacket and freezing my ass off. So we'll go visit them and drive something else again. Until then, if you want to check out, we've reviewed 2 of their cars on the Smoking Tire. You can go check out those videos. Moving on to a video that has had mad commenters being irate. Mad commenters. It's crazy. Let's take a look at it. Race seats, so important in a muscle car. When you're driving an old muscle car, It feels like you're going fast even when you're not. And obviously some of these modern cars are showing me what fast really is right now. I'm not embarrassing myself, but I'm definitely not hauling ass like I would if I was in a new car. I'll be totally honest with you right now. And I'm probably gonna get another point buy soon. What are you gonna do? I got the only muscle car out here. The fact that I'm not in the dirt right now is pretty damn amazing. You know, normally when we review cars on a racetrack, we get the track to ourselves. This time we didn't do it. We were invited to a track day with lots of other cars. Many of them were very fast. This Challenger, even though it looks cool, and even though it goes around corners well given its age, is just not that fast. Furthermore, it's someone's very expensive car that I don't want to wreck on the track. Furthermore, we were driving in a group of 50 other cars, and I'm trying to give my first impressions of the car. If you don't think that's hard, try it. I dare you. It's really hard and really scary. But I will tell you something. For a 40-year-old car, the Hotchkis Challenger handles good, it's fun to drive, it's easy to drive. It's not fast. It's just not. That much power in that much car on a track isn't all that fast. I'll be honest with you, it isn't. But it's a fun muscle car to drive and showcases Hotchkis's suspension tuning capabilities quite well. Moving on, Stillen. Check out the video. The whole point of this car is that it's well-rounded. It can be a daily driver, it can be a canyon car, it can be a track car. It could really be all of them at the same time. And I like it because of the balance, because it doesn't feel overdone. There's no weird squeaks or rattles because things have been gutted and rebuilt so many times. There's no strange noises from the suspension because it's a race car. It's a street car. It's just a really good one.
It's such a nice linear power band, and with the centrifugal supercharger, the boost matches the revs. So the harder you rev the engine, the more boost you get, the more power you get. So if you just want to cruise around town, low RPM, not a lot of throttle response, it's very, very docile. But you start to rev that engine and get into the throttle hard, you'll enjoy it.
And we go back with Steve Millen and Kyle Millen a couple of years. We went for a ride with Steve Millen and his GTR back in the day, and it was nutty. And predictably nutty, as it was a fully gutted racing car. Now the 370Z, very cool car. Great platform to start with, great upgrade package, very balanced, very easy to drive. The interesting thing about this car is that it never really felt fast. You look at the speedometer and it was going crazy and the car was hauling ass and you'd be like, oh my God, I just did 90 through that corner? Like, wow. But in your eyes and your brain didn't register 90. It was weird how that car slowed things down. And I don't think they were messing with the speedometer, so knock that crap off right now. It was a good car and a great upgrade package from them. I genuinely enjoyed driving it. Were there any problems with it? The front splitter was really low and would scrape a little bit, but that aside, very enjoyable car to drive and film, as I think. Look at that. Shots came out beautiful, except that one's blurry because I'm going really fast. Because the Stillen 370Z shared a lot of parts with the VF Engineering M3 we drove the following week, people asked me to make more of a comparison about what those two cars were like to drive. And I will do just that after you watch the VF clip. Even a regular M3 is fast, but it's muted a little bit. I mean, this car on an otherwise stock engine, all it's got is an exhaust plus the supercharger. Leave the internals alone, and it just wakes it right up. I mean, it's amazing how much 7 pounds of boost can do for a car. This thing, you know, normally the M3 is a total balanced package, and while this does retain some of that, it's also a total freaking animal. Now, Nick from VF really came through for us on this one when the Lotus Exige that we filmed last week broke down, and we didn't have a car, and we had to have an episode, and we had 2 days to make it. So I called Nick, and I asked him for a car, and he gave us one. And you actually saw that phone call in the video. Actually, that's a lie. No, you didn't. I called him an hour earlier add that phone call and then asked if I could call back and have that phone call again for you guys. So, a little bit of theater there, just so you know. All right, so how do the VF Engineering M3 and the Stillen 370Z compare? Well, they compare in the same way, believe it or not, that a stock M3 compares to a stock 370Z. With the same parts on it, they have proportional horsepower increases. They handle like their cars they're based on. The M3 is higher and bigger and heavier, but it's got more horsepower, and it actually feels better through the corners than the 370Z does, but that's just the nature of the M3. The 370Z inside was still as 370Z, and while it handled incredible and went really, really fast, the engine never felt as good as the M3's engine, and that's because the engine isn't. So there you have it. Oh, one more comment on the VF M3. Didn't even oversteer it once. Meh. From GR3B3N. Well, Mr. GR3B3N, if, hypothetically, I gave you that car, it was my car, I let you have it, didn't even come out there with you, and I said, you should drive it on that road, the one with the cool drop-off so the shots look awesome. And then I saw a video of you drifting my car on that road, I would come find you and I would kick you in the right nut, followed by the left nut. Because when people let you borrow cars, you treat those cars with respect. They're not press cars. That's a guy's car. That's his daily driver. If I break it, I have to pay for it. F that. Moving on. All right, here we go. The world's fastest DeLorean, and it has one of the hardest clutches I've ever used. So, Kenny Duttweiler, twin turbo Buick Grand National V6. Now, I will admit that I have talked to several people about doing a motor swap into a DeLorean because I always love the styling of it, love the look of the car, love the idea of the car, but everyone knows the stock PRV engine in this thing is a pile of crap. And it's not a pile of crap, it's a bad engine, it just doesn't make any power. Most people know of the PRV engine as the motor that you can find in a Volvo 240, and it makes an amazing 130 horsepower. This car makes 575 horsepower. So let's put our foot in it and see what happens. It makes a cool sound, that's for sure. I mean, it's not blowing me away with the speed right now, it's not. In this video, we met Don, who is the God-loving, God-fearing owner of DMC California and is in charge of probably hundreds of DeLoreans in the Southern California area. Now, this was an interesting episode because we were driving not only a very unique DeLorean because it had a Buick Grand National motor swap in it, but the car wasn't Don's car, it was one of his customers' car. Don didn't keep the car at his warehouse. So when we asked to film it, when I found the ad for it being for sale online, he went up to the customer's house and got the car and drove it 100 miles back to his shop. Now, during that time, the car was running just fine, and he had no reason to suspect that it wouldn't run fine for us the next day. Obviously, if you can see this picture, you know that, or if you've seen the video, you know it didn't go so well. And there was some old gas that clogged up the lines, and the car didn't want to run. Now, this made me sad because I truly felt optimistic that there was a way to make a DeLorean go fast. But the truth of the matter is, when the car was working, it wasn't very good to drive. It had the heaviest clutch I've ever used in a car. It put Countach's to shame. The shifter was just as heavy. The brakes didn't work very well. The steering was numb. And honestly, if you're going to have all that, you may as well have a stock motor too. Because honestly, what's the point? But Don did email me a couple of days after we filmed the video, and he said that the car, they flushed out the fuel system and put in a completely new fuel tank, and the car is running like a top. So hopefully, if he doesn't sell it and ship it somewhere inaccessible, we'll get to go back next season and try out the world's fastest DeLorean again. Now, a couple of commenters said, this makes his shop look bad. I mean, these fuckers get a guy to show them a car and then they f him over by making a video of how his car broke. Why didn't you guys cut that part out or use another car? There isn't another car. This is the car. There's the only one. There's no other car. Secondly, why didn't we cut that part out? So you're suggesting we film a car that didn't work. Andres hates, great name. You're suggesting that we film a car that doesn't work and then we try and pretend like it did work? That's just retarded. That doesn't make any sense. But it's not, you know, it wasn't Don's fault. He didn't know about the issue. Obviously, we didn't know about the issue. We filmed this on like a Saturday, and we had to air the episode on Monday. We're on a schedule. When you're producing a show like this, you have to get a video up. And if the car breaks, that's the story. The car broke. And I'm sorry to Don. I hope we made his shop look good, because on an engine stand in that shop, they had a 500,000-mile DeLorean engine that was still running just fine. So I have confidence in Don's ability to work on engines as long as he knows there's a problem there in the first place. But most importantly, this car did not destroy my quest for DeLorean ownership. I want a stock one. I want to cruise around LA in it, looking like Will.i.am, except not a douche. And it hasn't deterred me one bit. But I do not want a DeLorean with a Grand National engine in it. If I want a Grand National engine, I will buy a Grand National. Next week, we went to the Trona Airport runway shootout, where for the first time I thought I wouldn't be driving anything. Well, wait, we didn't drive anything in Art Moore. So for the second time, I thought we wouldn't be driving anything. But it turns out I found someone to race. You may notice I'm in my truck. You may notice I'm at the end of a runway. This is not a tuner car, but we figured we'd have some fun anyway. So I'm going to race a Toyota Prius down the runway. That's right. Toyota Prius on tarmac, Raptor on dirt. So, shall we do this? Here we go. Ready? And go. First gear, there we go. Come on. The Prius is actually in the lead right now. And I'm catching him. I'm catching him. Oh, I'm gonna make the pass, I think. Here we go. It's dead even. Dead even. Oh, and I get the Prius. I got him. Yes. What was my consumption right there? 3.1 miles per gallon. This was an interesting video. We always have a weird time when we're trying to do like standard motorsports coverage, and I couldn't stay out of the car, so I just like had to race something. Now, a lot of people were commenting that the Prius may have actually had 1,000 horsepower. Take a joke, people. It was 1,000 written on the side of a Prius. It was a Prius. It's a Prius! Nevertheless, by the way, that was a Prius. And overwhelmingly, people said that they wanted more coverage. More in-car, more me shutting up and just shooting the cars, more whatever. More of everything, pretty much. They wanted more of everything. But here's the thing. There are 4 people on this crew. When you're at a runway event, you're either at one end or the other, and you can only move between the two so often, like once an hour. So for a crew of our size to accurately get good shots of every run and then match them up, and oh, by the way, there was 100 cars there. I don't know what half the cars had in them. I know what the ones the tuner shops brought had, but that's it. So I'm sorry, we didn't get more in-car coverage. We literally were allowed, the way the time schedule works in an event like that, we could get 1 shot per hour from each of our mounted cameras. So that's just all we can do, and with 4 people. Now, on the other hand, that was a fun event. Not only because I defended my Raptor's right to beat a Prius, but it segued us perfectly into our next episode, even though I had met the owner of the car I was going to drive that day. It shifts hard. I mean, it shifts a lot more like a Lamborghini than it does a GTR. Could be due to Switzer's upgraded transmission components. sound. It's like, it's not like anything I've ever heard. It sounds kind of like Steve Millen's Nissan GTR did, but it's a very unique, it's raspy, it's throaty, it's kind of, dare I say, annoying a little bit. I don't even know if it's a good sound, it's just a lot of it. It is a damn good thing we went to that event, because otherwise we would not have had the E900 GTR to drive. Now, I left out the first word there for a reason. Now, in the video, I pronounced it Switzer, like Switzerland, and that's wrong. It's actually Schweitzer, which is funny because Neil Schweitzer's brother, his name is Tim, but it's spelled T-Y-M. So it's not Time Switzer, it's Tim Schweitzer, and they're reversed. How weird is that shit? Bugs me out. So let's talk about the GTR and horsepower. 950 crank horsepower. And this car is ludicrously fast. I did 30 to 150 in about 8 seconds. And that is insane. Of course, it was on a fully closed road, as I would never ever attempt anything like that on a public road. Ever. The E900 GTR video is also where we got a first look at Chris, the car's owner, who elicited rage from many of you at his outfit or his chains or his tan or whatever. But let me tell you about Chris. Of all the guys you've ever seen wear clothes like that, Chris is one of the very few that can wear clothes like that, if you know what I'm saying. Because underneath the clothes like that, he's got bullet wounds and knife wounds and bat wounds and all kind of wounds that he survived. So Chris can wear whatever Adidas jumpsuit he wants to wear. Now, funny story about Chris. So we get to Chris's house to shoot the GTR, and he rolls up in his Mercedes with breakfast for all of us. Super cool thing to do, okay? He's wearing a blue Adidas sweatshirt and white Adidas sweatpants, and gold chains and the sunglasses. Now, I immediately make fun of him a little bit. And he goes, okay, I'll go inside and change. He came back out with the white Adidas hoodie and blue Adidas sweatpants. He reversed it, but was otherwise wearing the same thing. God damn, is that funny. I love Chris. He is the cool, he just wants to have fun. He's got a crazy media center. He's got a fuel pump at his house. And about the GTR itself, many people were saying, and I have evidence of this, how the F are you going to double the horsepower and leave the brakes stock? I understand the stock GTR brakes are pretty good, but what the F? And that's from Bears D Kills on YouTube. Here's the thing. The GTR has some of the best brakes on any car ever. Okay, so the upgrade the brakes first don't apply the same way as if you strap a turbo on a Civic CX. Okay, the car will stop, and the car will stop well. The only real difference is you're entering corners on a track, of course, at a much higher rate of speed, so they will overheat faster. Okay, so you want to get some pads, you want to get some fluid. Chris had just bought the car. He bought it like 2 months before, and he bought it complete because there's a 6-month waiting list for Schweitzer cars. He didn't want to wait, so he bought the one that was there. Totally understandable, if you ask me. He wanted to drive it for a bit first and see if the brakes needed to be upgraded. After he drove it in the canyons, after I drove it in the canyons, we agreed pads and fluid would be a good idea. But the brakes are fine. It's not like you're not going to stop in time for something. It's just they'll get hot if you drive it hard. That's the way it goes. But GTR brakes are pretty good. So don't freak out, people. Be chill. Enjoy the show. Let the guy have his Adidas suits and his ready-built Schweitzer 950 horsepower cars. With all those injuries, he's earned it. For exactly 7 days, that was the fastest car I had ever driven. Until I drove this next car. The Lotus Exige comes with a supercharger, makes 240 horsepower. Those who want to go faster traditionally swap out for a turbocharger. Frank was unsatisfied with either of those solutions and went with both. Now, normally with a setup like that, you'd have to run race gas. But race gas is annoying and hard to find in California. So what Frank did is set up a dual-stage fuel system. So you fill up one tank with pump gas, and you fill up the other tank with isopropyl alcohol, just like you'd find at a CVS. And the combination of the two, once you get over a certain amount of boost, the alcohol kicks in, and it basically is an E85 setup on the fly. That car was nutty. That's my buddy Frank's Lotus Exige with an obscene power to weight ratio and an obscene amount of grip as well. Now, given that those two things are so huge, people asked over and over and over, why didn't I go faster? And I will tell you why I didn't go faster. First of all, I don't think you have any idea how fast I was actually going most of the time. Now, secondly, this car has so much grip and is so sure-footed that it really slows down on video. It doesn't look nearly as fast as you're going because it's completely uneventful. Being in the car, however, not so uneventful. This is the loudest car I have been in a really long time, and there's so many sounds happening. Should I do my impression of the sounds? Should I do my impression of the sounds, shouldn't I? Yeah. It sounds like this. That's what it sounds like constantly in that car, okay? And it's crazy owner Frank, who we love, because he is just completely mental. I mean, the guy's owned so many Group B rally cars, he's like impossible to impress anymore. He's calling out people on forums. He's calling out John Hennessy. I hope that works, by the way, because I really want to drive that Venom GT now. But this car is nuts. But what's crazy about it is how after 15 minutes it became totally drivable because the power is so progressive. Like the Switzer, see, I almost did it again. The Switzer GTR is lag, 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 boom! This thing was, the faster you went was directly related to how much gas you put in it. You could go slow, you could go fast, and the power just progressed nicely. It was great. But also, why didn't I go as fast as I could have possibly gone? This car is one of one. The body is custom made by Frank. Parts of it are carbon fiber, parts of it are fiberglass, but either way, it is one of one. If I cracked this car up in any way, not only would Frank have to sit there himself and make a new body, but I would have to pay him to do it. It's not a press car. This is this guy's project car. It's his dream Group B Lotus. That there are 4 people in the world who have driven this car. Frank, Mike, Townsend Bell, and me. You think I want to be the one who doesn't give it back to him in one piece? When I drive these one-of-a-kind machines that are these people's pride and joy, they put years of work into, the guy raced to put a new motor in it just so we could film it, do I then want to drive it off a cliff? No, I do not. I want to give it back to him in the exact condition it was given to me. And if any of you did any different with my project car, I'd beat the shit out of you. And that was our season, right there. That was it. It went by quick, didn't it? But that was awesome. I drove the fastest cars I've ever driven 3 times over. How brilliant is that? And until we come back in 3 months, you're gonna wanna know where we're at. You can find us at thesmokingtire.com. You can find us at our YouTube channel, The Smoking Tire, and we will be posting new videos. We got a bunch of them for The Smoking Tire. And we've got our audio podcast right now, which you can subscribe to via RSS on thesmokingtire.com or on iTunes. It has been the fastest trending podcast in the automotive genre for the last 6 weeks. So doing well with that, totally unfiltered, totally funny. And, oh yeah, check out this cool stuff Bill Caswell brought us from his new brand, Build Race Party. And of course, support The Smoking Tire and our crew by buying a pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses, which are the best sunglasses money can buy. Honestly, they're dope. They're the ones I wear in every video. And if you buy them using our link at thesmokingtire.com, we will send you one of these. Free t-shirt, courtesy of moi. So over the next couple months, drive. Thank you for having us. We've enjoyed our time here, and we'll be back in the summer. Chug! Chug! Oh, if you have an idea for a tuner car, if you want to get your tuner car on our show next season, we are taking submissions at tuned@thesmokingtire.com. TUNED@thesmokingtire.com if you want your tuner car on next season of Tuned. Peace.